And we're almost at the place where we were yesterday. Well, maybe we finished earlier, I forget. But we were up here at the edge of this, at the foothills of this southern cliffs. We definitely did the Instagram further to the south here, to the left. Another 100 or so yards, and we saw the pomegranate tree in full fruit in the wild, unkempt. And today we have this beautiful sunrise. And we're leaving. We're leaving. Are you leaving? When are you going? And how soon are you leaving? Leaving. Leaving. I remember in some of my little Hebrew study there was a song about the verb to leave. No, it was just a little ditty for learning the verb. It wasn't really a song, I don't think. But there must be many songs about leaving, right? There was an advertisement in Ireland for, was it for chocolate? Cadbury's Dairy Milk. Or maybe I'm confusing it with two thoughts that are similar. But it had a little boy behind a rainy window with the rain pouring down, and his eyes were checking out the drops of rain falling down the window as the rain lashed against the house. And it was for Cadbury's. What will he be from now, 20 years from now? But then there's another one, many young men of 20 say goodbye. But not just young men of 20, I think the whole of life is leaving. Leaving. And some moments of the leaving are more dramatic and impacting. We realize, sensationally impacting, we realize how they are so consequential for many things, and also for other people. And for circumstances of our life, we leave a lot behind. What are you leaving right now? Where are you in your leaving process? We have a growing process, a walking process, an intellectual path process, a spiritual growth process. What are you leaving? Because when we're growing, we're also leaving. We're leaving a mindset, we're leaving a way. Some flowers last a long time, because these have been blooming a long time. We saw these months ago, and they're still blooming. And others are only a couple of days and their season is over. Can you hear the ripples of the water? So actually going out into the garden and walking is also leaving the kitchen, leaving the house, leaving the bedroom, leaving the living room, leaving the television, leaving a little bit of noise in there, leaving a messed up meal that didn't turn out the way I wanted it. Leaving a moment of tension, need to go out and get some fresh air. Leaving, every day we're leaving. Because yesterday is not coming back. And yesterday was very full. Many things happened. And maybe for other people it was very still and stopped and nothing happened. But now it's behind them. You've left it. It's gone. You've left it, you know. And you had the reed plans. I'm not sure if they were like these in Egypt when they were leaving and going to the Red Sea. Leaving. This marvelous epic account today of the Exodus. You know, we have the book of Exodus. It has another name in Hebrew. I don't remember now, right now. The Hebrew Bible has other names for the books, but Exodus, that's very famous. The book of Exodus. Movies also help to make it famous in the popular imagination, but already the story itself is so dramatic, and learning it as a child, and the whole idea of a pharaoh, an evil ruler who is against us. You know, the tree isn't going anywhere, it's staying here. But we're leaving. Goodbye, tree. We're leaving. And obviously there's memory of where we were. We talked a lot about memory in the last few days. But sometimes memories become glorified. It's part of the human reality. And they also carry with them great blessing. We remember how we were blessed. They're leaving too, from one shore to another. What are you leaving now in your life? And how are you leaving? And at the Exodus, it was in haste. And they dropped everything. They didn't have time to bake their bread. They had to leave so quickly. The kingdom of heaven is close. God is calling. He's calling us to greater liberty. Sometimes we have to leave a lot of comforts behind. We have nostalgias. Nostalgia is a good thing, but sometimes nostalgia can be wrongly cultivated, and we can be longing to go back. And there's no going back. There's no going back, people. We're leaving. We're going forward. Looks like this guy's putting on a show for us. He's hanging around here with his jet ski. Just the minimal provisions. I remember once I was visiting with a family in the Netherlands, in the town of Utrecht. We were having a monthly adoration for young people there when I was working in Germany. And suddenly there was a siren call for fire. And all those houses were wooden structures, very, let's say, they weren't very substantial and definitely not against fire. And the whole block could go up in fire very quickly. And the dad, his name was Michiel, and he said to me, "You grab this." And he gave me some albums that they had of special family treasures, and he grabbed the computer and he said, "Monica, go out with the baby. Go down immediately." She was the first out with the baby. Get her out of the house. Get the baby out. You know, leaving in a hurry, leaving in disaster. I remember a fellow here telling us about a war situation in Jerusalem, and somebody came to all the doors of the families and said, "You have 15, 20 minutes to get out." And one of the sisters said to their father, no, why don't we just prepare a few more things and get out fast? And he said, no, we're leaving immediately. And he had been in the First World War. He knew how war worked. And they left immediately. They were gone before the time limit that was given because of the danger to life. That man is an extraordinary man. He's still alive. He came to our inauguration at Magdala, Emilio, an Armenian Christian guide. Extraordinary man. And they left all their things, their house, they were driven out. These are things that happen in life. Sometimes it's an earthquake. Just look what happened in Miami. Oh, by the way, we have a little bit of sad news there. I mean, it's sad news in itself. But just yesterday become more personally sad for us when we learned that a family who was a benefactor family of Magdala were living in that building. And the parents and their son were lost. They lost their lives. To be ready to leave. And to leave without leaving burdens for others. To leave with blessings for others. Because the moment of leaving is also blessing. I think of Felipe leaving last week. Felipe has been here a number of years as a volunteer. And he was so extraordinarily helpful with all the media work. He did a lot of the newsletters. Oh, by the way, I put a link to one of the recent blog articles into the post today from this latest newsletter on the occasion of Mary Magnus Feast Day, and it's about the Gladiator Rabbi. It's only a minute read. It's a very short article by Father Stroll. He's doing a whole series of historical things. He's doing his doctorate in sacred scripture at the moment in Jerusalem at the École Biblique. And he's obviously an academic and a good writer. And he comes across these tidbits. I don't know how he finds them all, but he's writing such intriguing stories about a famous gladiator, very tough guy, who eventually got his life straightened out and he became a rabbi, and a very substantial rabbi in terms of influence. And apparently the people of Magdala here asked him to help them to discern a crisis they were in. There's another flower that's blooming all the time, another tree, a plant. Not really a tree. And it's always in bloom for months and months and months. Maybe 5 months already, or maybe more. And so you can find that link there in the newsletter. And now I lost the train of thought I did with this flower here. But we found out that this family left their, they were lost in the building, so I ask you to say a prayer for them, for all their relatives. And it makes that whole collapse of the building very close to us. It brings it very close to our hearts. And you know, there's so many things going on in the world. How many people die every day? If we have 7 billion people, and let's say we lived for an average of 70 years, which I don't think that's the average life expectancy, I think it's less. But that would mean that 1 billion people would die every 10 years, which is 100 million every year. Which is about 2 million every week, which is about almost 300,000 every day are leaving. And to be ready to leave. You remember the guy who was building barns? He was planning to stay. And he had this big harvest, and he was going to sit and eat and dine and pleasure to his heart's content. And Jesus said, it's not very often Jesus uses these kinds of words, okay? It was a parable, so it wasn't to somebody's face. And he said, you fool, tonight you will be leaving everything in this world. To be ready to go. To be ready to leave when the kingdom is calling. And sometimes the kingdom calls in a very small way that's very hard for us. A baby is crying and poor tired mom has to once again get up out of her chair, out of her bed. Somebody needs something, a neighbor calls, "Oh, I can't do it, I'm tied up." The kingdom is always calling. And sometimes our comfort is closer to us and more important to us than the need somebody else has. Leaving, the ability to leave. And the wonders the Lord does as we leave. In our psalm verses, His mercy endures forever. No matter where we're leaving, in what circumstances, the Lord's mercy endures forever. That's a constant. We never have to leave that. That never leaves us. And then we transcend all these things. We leave our home, we leave our school, we leave school and go to work. At some point we leave work, not just every day, but for good. And then we get ready to leave this world. Because the kingdom is calling. And we're destined to live forever. There's a guy out here in a little comfortable boat. I think he's fishing. Let's see if we get a glance of him with all the trees here. Here we have him in his boat. And then Jesus is always moving, but He's moving with incredible mercy. There He's casting His rod. And the quotation from Isaiah is so beautiful about the gentleness of Jesus with everyone He meets. And He wants to meet the whole world. And He goes from place to place. He never stops. He's always leaving. Once Jesus' public life starts, He's always leaving. Even at His birth, He was moving. After His birth, He was moving. God bless you as you move in your life, step by step. I think I should stay one more minute and get this guy with the sun in the background, because we don't have this chance every day. We'll get a nice silhouette here maybe. I need to go a little further up. See you later, alligators. God bless you.